You ever get that look from a woman? The one where her body is still, but her eyes are burning. Where she's quiet, too quiet, and you can tell something deeper, darker is stirring behind that perfectly arched brow. That's not just attraction. That's not even desire. That is a fantasy waiting to be triggered. Now here's the catch. Most men never go there. They play it safe. They stay polite. They ask for permission and wonder why she's never fully present in the bedroom or in love. They follow the script society handed them. Be nice, be respectful, never push too hard, never take too much. And in doing so, they become forgettable. They become the man she settles for, not the man she craves, but the man who understands the hidden architecture of female desire, the man who knows how to trigger these deep, primal fantasies without shame or hesitation. That man becomes unforgettable. She'll be yours in ways even she won't be able to explain. She'll find herself thinking about you at odd hours, replaying moments in her mind, wondering why you affect her the way you do. And she'll never fully understand it because it's not logical. It's not rational. It's something older, something deeper, something that predates civilization itself. It's the ancient dance of masculine and feminine energy that has been playing out since the beginning of time. And if you want to step into that dance, if you want to become the man she fantasizes about in the dark, you need to understand these 5 triggers. Let's start. 1. The take control trigger. Why she secretly craves to be owned by a man who never asks. Here's what no woman will say out loud. I want a man who knows and asks if I'm ready. I want a man who knows. That's not disrespect. That's confidence. That's emotional dominance. The kind she pretends to hate, but aches for in silence. You ever notice how women devour books like 50 Shades of Grey? Why the bad boy trope never dies? Why the quiet, brooding man always wins her attention, even if he says little? It's because he represents something she craves, but can't control. Not abuse, not arrogance, but authority, presence, command. She wants to feel overpowered by a man who is completely in control of himself. That's the paradox. The fantasy isn't about being pushed around. It's about surrendering without fear. And a high-value man understands that surrender is only possible when she trusts your leadership. This is where Stoic philosophy becomes invaluable. The Stoics understood that true power comes from within. It's not about dominating others. It's about mastering yourself. Seneca wrote, "The greatest power is the power over oneself." When a woman sees that you have mastered yourself, she naturally feels safe surrendering to you. She knows you won't abuse that power because you don't need to. You are already complete. So, how do you activate this dark fantasy? You do it by being the man who never needs to raise his voice to get her attention. You walk in the room and she feels you before you say a word. You look at her, just one look and her breath catches. You reach for her hand, not to ask, but to lead. That's the trigger, the certainty. It's the unspoken knowledge that you know exactly who you are and what you want. And she can feel that certainty radiating from you like heat from a fire. She doesn't have to guess where she stands with you. She doesn't have to wonder if you're going to waver or doubt. You are solid. You are sure. And that sureness is intoxicating. Women are surrounded by men who are unsure, who hedge their bets, who ask for permission at every turn. A man who doesn't ask, who simply knows, is like a breath of fresh air in a room full of stale, predictable energy. He's the one she can't stop thinking about. He's the one she fantasizes about because he represents something rare, a man who is fully alive, fully present, and fully in command of himself. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. When you realize this, you stop seeking permission from the world. You stop asking for validation. And that freedom, that sovereignty, is the most attractive quality a man can possess. 2. The forbidden protector fantasy. She craves to be rescued, but never says it. She'll tell the world she doesn't need saving. She's independent, fierce, in control. She's built her walls. She's proud of them. But deep inside, she wants to be caught. Not by someone soft. Not by someone who will fall apart when she breaks down. but by a man who sees through her armor and calmly says, "I've got you." This isn't about playing the hero. It's about becoming her sanctuary, the one place she can stop pretending. Because here is her secret. She may run the world by day, but when she's with you, she wants to collapse into your strength and feel safe being fragile. Every woman carries a burden. It might be the weight of expectations, the pressure to perform, the exhaustion of always having to be strong. She has to be the one who holds everything together at work, with her family, with her friends. And sometimes, she just wants to be held. Not by someone who needs her to be strong, but by someone who allows her to be weak. Triggering this fantasy isn't about dramatic gestures. It's about subtle moments that whisper, "You don't have to do everything alone anymore." Hold her gaze when she's spiraling. Guide her into silence when her head won't stop spinning. Stand there unshaken when she pushes because she wants to know you won't leave. The more stoic you become, the more her emotional storms begin to orbit you, not destroy you. And once she feels that, she'll start showing you every part she hides from the world. She'll show you her fears, her insecurities, her doubts. She'll trust you with the parts of herself she's never shown anyone else. And that trust is sacred. That trust is the foundation of a bond that cannot be broken. Because when a woman feels safe with you, truly safe, she will give you everything. Her mind, her body, her heart, her soul. She will fight for you, protect you, and love you with a fierceness that will surprise even her. And all because you were the one man who made her feel like she didn't have to carry the world alone. Epictetus taught, "No great thing is created suddenly." This includes the trust of a woman. It is built slowly, through consistent presence, through unwavering steadiness, through the quiet assurance that you will not falter when she falters. And when that trust is built, it is unshakable. 3. The masquerade fantasy. She wants you to see the version of her no one else can. You know that part of her that smiles in public, that knows how to flirt, play, perform. Yeah, that's her mask, and every woman wears one. She has learned to smile when she wants to cry, to laugh when she wants to scream, to nod when she wants to object. She has perfected the art of being what the world expects her to be, but what she really wants, what she secretly fantasizes about, is the man who can see behind it. The one who catches the crack in her voice and doesn't call her out. He simply understands. You don't expose her. You witness her. And that's intimacy most men can't touch. Most men are so caught up in themselves, so focused on their own performance, that they never see the cracks. They never notice the slight hesitation, the way her smile doesn't quite reach her eyes, the way she deflects when things get too real. But you notice, because you're paying attention, because you care enough to see the woman behind the mask. Triggering this fantasy is about attunement. You watch her carefully, her tone, her silence, her body language. You respond, not react. And in that presence, she starts to feel naked but safe. She may say, "I'm fine." But when you lean in, hold her face and say, "You don't have to be," she'll melt because now she's not alone behind the mask anymore. You've entered the private world inside her mind, the one she didn't even know she was aching to share. And when you make her feel known like that, she doesn't just want your touch. She needs it. Because in a world where everyone wants something from her, where everyone has an agenda, you are the one who simply wants to know her. Not to possess her, not to control her, but to understand her. And that is the most powerful thing you can offer her. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." When your thoughts are of genuine curiosity, of deep listening, of true presence, your soul becomes a refuge for hers. She will feel seen in a way she has never felt seen before. And once she feels that, she will never forget it. For the controlled chaos fantasy, she wants to feel out of control in your hands. This one's primal. It's the one she never admits. Not to friends, not even in her journals. But it's the most explosive, intoxicating, and dangerous fantasy of them all. Losing control in your hands. She wants to surrender to something bigger than her moods, bigger than her fear, bigger than her constant overthinking. This isn't about force. It's about being so grounded that she feels like she can finally let go and fall apart without falling alone. And you don't lose your center. You hold her through it. You guide. You breathe. You lead. This is where the Stoic principle of emotional sovereignty becomes absolutely essential. Seneca wrote, "A man is as unhappy as he has convinced himself he is." When she spirals, when her emotions threaten to overwhelm her, she needs a man who has not convinced himself that her chaos is his chaos. She needs a man who can remain centered, who can be the eye of the storm while the winds rage around him. Triggering this fantasy is about presence. You don't ask what she wants. You feel it before she says it. You slow her down when she spirals. You press pause when she rushes. You hold her tighter when she pushes. And in that dance, she begins to unravel. She's not afraid of the dark with you. She wants to explore it because you are her anchor. When a woman finds a man who can handle her fire, she'll set his world on fire just to stay warm beside him, because she knows that with you, she can be completely herself without fear of judgment, without fear of rejection, without fear of being too much. And that freedom is intoxicating. It's liberating. It's the kind of freedom that makes her want to give you everything. Because you gave her the one thing she needed most, permission to be herself. Epictetus taught, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." When she tests you, when she pushes you, when she tries to see if you'll break, your reaction is everything. If you react with anger, with frustration, with defensiveness, you fail. But if you react with calm, with steadiness, with unwavering presence, you pass. And she knows, deep in her bones, that she has found a man who can hold her. Not just physically, but emotionally, psychologically, spiritually. And that is the kind of man she will never let go. 5. The silent obsession fantasy. When you become the thought she can't escape, the last fantasy, it doesn't require a single word. It's not about seduction or dominance or safety. It's about lingering. You trigger this fantasy when you stop chasing and start moving through life with unbothered confidence. You show her that her rejection didn't shatter you, that you aren't watching her stories. You're not reacting to her bait. You're building, growing, glowing. And suddenly, she can't stop thinking about you. It's the mystery, the restraint, the way your presence lingers in rooms you've already left. She starts to crave your energy again, but this time she's not sure if she can have it. That's what makes it fantasy, because the most haunting man is not the loudest. It's the one who once touched her soul and then vanished without needing applause. You become her obsession, and she'll never admit it, but she'll replay the way you breathed, the way you stared, the way you knew her over and over and over. This is the power of the Stoic. The Stoic does not chase. He attracts. He does not beg. He commands presence. He does not need her validation because he is already whole. And that wholeness, that completeness, is what haunts her. Because she knows somewhere deep down that she has met a man who is not like the others. A man who is not needy, not desperate, not clinging. A man who can walk away and be perfectly fine. And that terrifies her and excites her in equal measure. Because she knows that if she wants him, she will have to earn him. And there is nothing more attractive to a woman than a man she has to earn. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "A man's worth is measured by the worth of what he values." When you value your own peace, your own purpose, your own mission, more than her approval, you become invaluable to her. She sees a man who is not defined by her attention, and that drives her wild. Now you know. Not the fantasy she posts on Instagram. Not the sweet little checklist she tells her friends she's looking for. You've seen the real one. The fantasy she tries to suppress. And if you're still here, you're not average. You're not safe. You're a man of presence. A man who can hold fire without flinching. A man who understands that true power is not loud. It is quiet. It is steady. It is unshakable. So I'll leave you with this. She doesn't want a man who asks for permission. She wants a man who awakens her mind, body, and soul. She wants a man who triggers something ancient and primal within her. Something she didn't even know was there. She wants a man who makes her feel alive in a way she's never felt before. If that's you, don't play small. Become the one fantasy she'll never confess, but never forget. The Stoics understood that the greatest power a man can possess is power over himself. When you master yourself, you become irresistible. Not because you're trying to be, but because you simply are. You become a force of nature, a presence that cannot be ignored. And that is the kind of man women dream about in the dark. That is the kind of man they fight to keep. That is the kind of man you can become. If this awakens something in you, if you're done playing soft in a world that responds to strength, subscribe. This channel isn't for weak men. It's for the few who lead with clarity, command, and masculine depth. Comment the word obsession if you've seen the look in her eyes when she almost gave in. If you've ever felt that pull, if you're ready to become the man women dream about in silence, type it, own it, trigger it. The path to mastery is not easy. It requires discipline, self-reflection, and a willingness to grow. But the rewards are beyond measure. You will not only attract women of quality, but you will attract a life of quality. You will become the kind of man who is not just desired, but unforgettable. And that is the ultimate goal. Not to be wanted, but to be worthy of being wanted. So, take what you've learned here and apply it. Not as a technique, but as a way of being. Become the man she can't stop thinking about. Become the fantasy she'll never confess. Because once you do, you will never be forgotten. And that is the most powerful thing a man can be. Stay sharp, stay centered, and stay unstoppable. See you in the next one.